Greetings, people! Welcome to another weekly show, Paper Aircraft Weekly. Dave here with Sil. How y'all doing today? This fine March Fest. Here we are, in the month of March. Big month, for at least me and the family. March is kind of heavy. Nothing like unexpected and everything like that. Just a pretty heavy month. We all know the crisis going on in the world today. All I got to say is, you people in the Ukraine, stay strong. I'm pretty sure the world's behind you, and that lunatic will be ousted soon enough. Just hold on. I'd say we pray for you, but if I want to do nothing, I'll just sit here. But anyway, please support them in their time. Do what you can, if you can, anything. People, still having some miserable weather here. But a fresh idea out of my factory. I was going to put it up in mine, but I wanted to bring it along for you people. So it's something to do here. So there'll be a plane in build here, as I got an idea, and I'm willing to work it, and I'm going to work something, and you're all going to work along with me if you wish, as we build a plane today. So make it a quicker plane, maybe, but I think it's a little bit more complex than that. You'll see what it is, and I'll show you the example that I built earlier. This is fresh. I've only built number one. I'm going to build number two. It's an idea I had, admittingly, after perusing a couple of videos and reading a couple books, but I want to test it out. I want to see where we can get, see what comes of it. I'm intrigued by it. You're gonna instead of like others, you're gonna follow me along in the development of this one, and I'm gonna teach you how to build it, and I'm gonna build a different variation on it. And what I want you guys to do is, you're gonna follow along here. I want you to follow along, but I would like you to not do it exactly the same way I'm doing it. Every one of y'all, I'm gonna tell you what I'm doing, but I'm gonna make it different from the first one. And you guys are going to make it different from the one that I'm doing, because I want different, I want to see if you guys can help me further design without, I can't use this sheet, without me having to develop it on my own. See what I'm saying? So basically, I'm going to cheat a little bit and see what you guys come up with. And if you guys come up with something, well, I know you guys are going to come up with something. Let me put it that way. But the point of it is, you're going to come up with something, I'm going to come up with something different, and together, hopefully, we will get something that I can possibly use, or you can possibly use, and you can tell me about when you build your aircraft. How about that? It's not, like I said, I'm going to give you the specs, the parameters, and I'm also going to throw sheets on the floor as I look for these things. Okay, I got a good one here. Fine, this will work. It's the old scoring sheet. And like I said, you're going to follow along, but you're not going to follow along exactly. If I tell you if I say I'm using an inch, you use something different. But I know that's not going to be true, because I've only had one design built. Okay, so it's not going to follow any technical specifications. It never did in the first place. It's not going to. Only after it gets mastered will there be technical specifications. So again, if I say an inch, you go with 1 1/4 inch. You go with 3 millimeters, whatever. I'll use them. I gotta get with this millimeters kind of thing or whatever. But you go with the millimeters. I'll go with the centimeters, so on and so forth. We're just gonna make this work, okay? We're gonna make this work. Good God. Let's see if I can figure this out here. Okay, so 2.5 centimeters is 1 inch approximately. So if I say 2.5 centimeters, you go with 2 centimeters. You know what I mean? Okay, there. I'm going to keep it up here so I remember that for you guys. So anyway, while building this, we're going to talk about the one thing that I really got stationed on here, because I thought about this and I was hoping NASAS would jump on. NASAS will be on soon enough. We're talking, okay, he mentions his tourney, right? And the tourney he's got that's what he's going to do with it is he's going to make his planes compete against each other for the right to be the best at a certain role and he's going to decide from then on exactly whether or not this one plane is going to be an attacker, a supporter, short enough for one's longer than the other, so on and so forth. Okay. He calls it the tourney, and I realized after. But let me segue a little bit since we're talking about the short ones, though. But Powerhouse, Robert, how y'all doing? I hope you're like catching this. I did see your video. I did see the message, and I'm assuming you posted the video because of the way you put the outro to it. So I want to thank you, and thanks for bringing up the fact that yes, you do have short planes. I never expected you to say the RR7 was your short plane. That was kind of a little bit of a surprise. I actually was expecting. Hell, I don't know what I was expecting, but I didn't expect RR7 to be it. So, are you like officially putting that hat in the ring that RR7 is like is it your shortest range? Is it the true supporter, or is it like that short to medium range attack, close to short range, or short to medium range? So is it attack or is it support? You got something shorter than that, or that's all I'm trying to figure out. So, yeah, not yet. So anyway, 2.5 centimeters. You're following me along. This is a regular size sheet of paper, okay? So, it's a 20 centimeter by, yeah. Wait, did I say, no, 8.5. I gotta be stupid. It's 30 centimeter by 21.5 centimeter, okay? This is a standard size American sheet of paper because I still haven't gotten my A4 sheets. But anyway, you know what I'm saying. So anyway, 2.5 centimeters is what you're trying to do here in the fold. An inch. Thereabouts, okay? Folding it down. I'm folding this one down. This is already different. I'm folding it down 3 times. This is already different from the aircraft as it were. Going to need some tape. Get that ready. Going to need some scissors. Get that ready. But you're starting off with your standard 8.5 by 11 sheet, Americans. So, keeping track. So anyway, I appreciate, like I said, Robert, Powerhouse, appreciate the video. I just want confirmation about, like, okay, so am I putting that in? Like, I don't even know in the sheets where that is. Is that, like, R7? Is it your attacker? Is it your support plane? What am I to do with it? Are you, like, is that where is that where we have it? I mean, if that's where we have it, fine, cool, well and good. All right, so no real dissolution there. Matter of fact, I'm checking it now, so we'll reconfirm. So I don't have to sound too stupid when I say this. Looking in the master sheet now. You have it as your interceptor. So see what I've got here. Right now, you Osprey. This is what I have listed. And if you need me to update this, get with me on this, because this is actually kind of like the list that I've got with what you have currently. So I got Osprey as your close to short range, and your short to medium range, which would be slightly longer, is Zeus. If this is inaccurate, let me know, because obviously RR7 is perfectly capable. But I mean, like, I know you can adjust, and any of you out there, don't get me wrong, any of you out there can adjust any plane to do short to long range. We talked about this in a couple previous shows. I mean, with a slight adjustment, you can make the plane be short, you can make the plane be long. I get it. But as being an IVPAC member, we tend to stick with the certain design and leave it as such. So it's like, if you're going to have, excuse me, if you're going to have that plane do the one thing, it's going to be the one thing. You know, you're welcome, obviously, on your own accord. It's your own company, your own design. Play with it as you wish. Just let us know, as an IVPAC member, how you plan on dispersing your aircraft. So, is RR7 the short range? You're keeping it as an interceptor. So you know, right now, I have Nightmare as your medium bomber, and I have Swallow as your medium to long range penetrator. If we want to alter that, like I said, get with me, let me know, we can alter this. You do have Knight's Arrow in there, has a heavy bomber, heavy airlift. You do have Bird has the light or fighter bomber. And you have Zymus, I would imagine it's Zymus, has the light airlift. You have ZRR7 also listed in here as your Hatro trainer. I remember you and I talked about this, or you mentioned it in Messenger a time back. Again, if you want this adjusted, let me know. I'll be more than happy to do that. If there's other planes, I mean, I think I'm pulling this from an older list, so maybe you don't use some of these anymore. If they're current, fine. If they've been retired, fine. I just pulled it from the list that I gathered from you. if there's more and these are gone, let me know. I'll update it. But I also want to get yours. I want to get yours straight too, because I mean, some of the rest of us, you know, like OAE keeps it up to date, so he knows which ones he retires. He has to, because he's got like 100 million of them. But like, I know which ones of mine are active, which ones are retired, which ones are in the reserves, and as with all the rest of us. So I'd like to get yours in that lineup too, just because it fits. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's where they stand. I can get you access to the sheet again, or the sheets that you need to see this. So if you want to make the adjustments on the fly, you can. But in any case, that's where they stand right now. And I do appreciate the video. It's nice to see another video getting out there by somebody. Thanks for flying. Anyway, so while we're building this, so I'm folding this in half, straight down. So the OPI valve, okay, was what I want to talk about here. Like, NASA's talking about doing a tourney, and you can call it whatever you want to, but basically you're pitting plane against plane. So obviously a tourney is like that. But it struck me earlier today that what he's talking about is what I've done before, and we called, like in the military, we call it OPI valve, is to make sure you have an IG team come through, an inspector team come through, and it evaluates every aspect of the squadron wing unit that you're based at to find out if you're ready for, you know, a combat stance. You know, if you stood up and you're ready for it. And some squadrons can fail it and be brought out, you know, like they are not combat ready. We can't expect them to do it. We need to give them a workup for the next however time duration so that they are. And in obviously our world, the paper world, I've had three of them myself, actually. It's one of which is what resulted in the great realignment I had of 94. A smaller realignment I had around about 2010, I think. Slightly earlier than that. What made the roles kind of like readapt themselves to what they currently are. And basically what I use the term Paper Air War 1 because we had two, but the second one really, again, after analyzing it, and you may have, if you've been with us all this time, you may know from an old show that I realized and understood, I mean, like seriously, old show, this was like 8 or 9 years ago, that it's like, that was actually probably our first serious OPI valve. That was still like in 87, and it was basically done on paper, just doing the exact same thing we're talking about here, is that your plane was analyzed versus other planes to see that it could do the roles. So, in any case, he's calling it a tourney. I just realized that if I would talk to him and I would mention this to him and I'd say, like, you know what, you're trying to do an OPI valve. And us being military brats and being in the military ourselves, we know exactly what that entails. And it strikes me that the best way to go about that would be to call it and hold it as an OPI valve. And granted, you need to fly. I mean, it's no different than his tourney. You need to fly so you can pitch your planes head to head to see who's got the range to beat whom, and so on and so forth. So it's not like this is like, okay, we're launching one today, because we still can't. I mean, we're experiencing better weather, but that just means here in Wisconsin, our snow is melting. So now the ground's wet. So we're still planning on losing these planes, and I don't really want to. I mean, I'm trying to pare the force down, but I got to fly them and see who's better and who's good, and so does he, and so on and so forth. So look for this in the coming times, because we're definitely, I think we're going to work this. And I think, like I said, I'm gonna talk to him about it, but I think for our technical aspect, for the military aspect of what we do, then we're definitely calling his and what we're trying to do in OPI valve. They usually turn out to be pretty intensive, but you come out a lot stronger with a lot better knowledge of what you're working with. Fairing that, that's also kind of giving what I'm giving to you in a minor form, pal. Robert, I'm trying to like make sure you know the same kind of thing. It's like, if I'm asking you directly, like if you want to get, you know, these planes, we got to get them organized, see who's active duty, who's reserves, who's retired in your case. Because I know that list has probably got a couple of oldies on there. And I might have left a couple off. Whatever the case may be. Just want to make sure that, like, okay, they're in the right roles and they're not retired or not reservists. Because you could use some reservists too, of course. But you also have quite a few more roles to fill if you wish. So, anywho. So you got your plane. Started with me. Folded it out here. You got that. And you got your 2.5 centimeter or 1 inch folds right here. Okay, now what you're going to do, Just fold this back. You're giving it like a little point here. Okay. Follow along, people. Follow along. Wherever. I'm not giving you anything. Like, give yourself slant. Somewhere in here. Slant this. That's what I'm saying. Slant it. Okay? Wherever. It doesn't matter. What you were building with me is like the second variant of this plane. Okay? So we got... And this, don't get excited. I mean, depending on what kind of plane you're looking for, this is definitely a SIL product. I haven't named it. I have built one plane, and Jesus, it'll be really short compared to the first model, but that's okay. It's okay. I'm trying to work this out. I mean, if I can put some ideas to bed, I'm going to put some ideas to bed. But I can tell already this one's definitely going to be different than the other one. So anyway, so you're going to end up with something like this, all right? You're going to have an angle, you're going to have a crease. I was trying to park this point somewhere in between this. I mean, if you want a point of reference. The previous model, as you'll see soon, because it's sitting right there. You haven't seen it yet, but I'll show you. Number 1 is over there. It was actually kind of like the point was up here, so this was really, really shallow. Again, you'll see this in a minute. So anyway, now while you got it like this, what's going to be crucial is go ahead and do some taping while it's like this, because you're going to need this tape anyway, and it's going to help it in future folds. So what I did was, this one is accurate. I'd like you to do this along with me. So you put a piece of tape. You can't see it. It's invisible tape. Look, I have tape. It's there. See? Glossy. Anyway. Okay. I put it in a run so it kind of holds the wing pocket down, but I put it down right here where your line here on this fold meets with this. So the tape is obviously square. And we would like the point of the tape to actually go where this line is and runs down here. So it's kind of get an idea of that. I'll outline it here in a second. It doesn't matter how big the piece of tape is. Again, I want you guys to come up with your own plans for this. But now let me outline this so you can see what it is I'm talking about. So the tape piece, you better write that you're going to be taping sits right like this. It's in line with this wing pocket fold. And like I said, and it points, it's a square piece, so it points down and fits right there. So you can see that. See that square? That's where the tape lies. The point being on the line and following this is the crucial part. Length does not matter. On the original one, on the first one, it's way longer than this. And I actually kind of don't like how short it is. It is kind of important that whatever you do with this, it is the same size on both sides. We're talking about, you know, symmetry here, so, or at least as close as you can be. So you did the one tape there. Obviously, once you get it there, it's highly recommended you tape the other side. And again, the important part is making sure that the square follows the line and follows the wing pocket. So after that, size doesn't really, length doesn't really matter. Do what you can. And use your fingernail. Use whatever it is you have on hand. Make sure you get it all taped in place. Hence one of the reasons why I like to use invisible tape, because you can really tell when you left any unstickable pockets anywhere, because you can use the nail or whatever it is you have on hand to really mesh it down and fold and follow the form. Okay, so I got your 2 pieces of tape there. Yeah, all right. Now, one thing you want to do, okay, follow along. You're going to want to fold the wings. My first design has the wings, the body slanted, the fuselage slanted. I think I'm going to keep that. If you wish to do that, you can. You don't have to. Again, I'm trying to get different ideas here, so please don't fold it slanted. I want to see what you guys get. But basically, you know, fuselage, okay? Any size, don't matter. What am I going to do? I'm probably going to do about a 1 1/4, 1.5 centimeter up here and slant it up to probably a full 2.5 in the back. So about 1 inch in the back, maybe a 1/2 inch up front, something. I don't know. It's going to be kind of deep. And obviously there's going to be some resistance because the folds up in the front are pretty thick. 2 folds up front, people.
Okay, so you got this here. Now, you want to crease it. You definitely need to crease it. But you're going to unfold the wing once you got it started. So, once you've got it in place, I feel like you can come along with me on this journey, even though I plan on possibly using this as a aircraft in my Corps. I was the first one to have built it because I already built my design. So, none of y'all could use it. I mean, you obviously could use it, but not officially as a member. So, because I built number 1 already. And granted, there are going to be variations on the same theme to make sure it makes it work. So, okay, you're going to have that. Got yourself a slant. Okay, now you want to unfold it, because the best is yet to come. So now what we're going to do, okay, your scissors are along for a ride. This plane's going to look wicked compared to the first one. Once you see the first one, you'll realize exactly how this one came out. And you'll be surprised it's the same kind of plane. So, bigger scissors will probably help because it's a pretty deep cut. So we're going to take this, and we're going to run it. We're going to run this basically to, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to make this cut wherever your triangle is on the wing fold. Okay, but you're going to angle it towards the nose of the plane. Not severely, slightly. Follow? I mean, you see the line there? I'm going to do about like this kind of an angle. Towards the nose. I mean, you can make it severe if you wish, but you're going to need this back end, so keep that in mind. So here, I'm going to make the cut here. And there's another reason why I'm doing it this way. So once you get to the wing pocket, you're going to stop. You're going to reverse the cut and then have it go back towards the trailing edge, towards the rudder for the remainder. However severe you want to try it is up to you. Okay, so I got that. All right. Now, because this one is going to turn out so much differently than my previous one, I'm going to alter this. Yours is going to look like mine because yours should be this short if you follow the 2 folds after the start of the plane at the beginning. So it should be this short. For those of you watching, mine is currently 6¼ inches long. I'm assuming you're everybody following along, you're going to be in that neighborhood, which is about 15.8 centimeters. So it should be somewhere in that neighborhood. 6¼ inches, 15.8 centimeters long. Okay, so since it's gonna turn out the other way, what I'm gonna do, it's gotta be similar. So I'm gonna cut this about half its width, because I don't need all this. Okay, that's trash, that's scrap, don't need it. Now, the second part of this, you're going to take this tailplane and you're going to fold it down here. I'm going to do something different with this one because this is the whole part of the idea. Okay. Somewhere, somehow, you're going to fold this so it's like, it gives an angle. The whole point of this is to get an angle going. Okay? I don't care how you do it. This is the fun and crucial part. You got free floating. However you want to play this, you can play this. For example, on this one, because of the cuts that I made, I was simply bringing this part of the cut and meeting the rudder, the very end of the rudder. That's all I followed. You can do it any way you want. I was trying to take out most of the cut from here, which is obviously the base up by the wing. I didn't really meet it. That's okay. This was more important to me. Again, you'll see why in a minute. So now that you've done that, the other thing you're going to have to do is take you a smaller piece of tape. Just a small piece, because I don't know how much we're going to need here in the immediate future, to hold that down at the leading edge. But don't go up into the wing fold. If you have it, okay? Like I said, yours, I hope yours is going to look different. I'm beginning to come around. I can't believe it's taken me this many years, but I'm beginning to come around to taping. Like taping almost everything, because it does seem to be beneficial. So I have to miss the fold if I can. Alright. So you got your tape down. You're holding the leading edge only. Make sure your crease is pretty... Your crease... Yeah, that's another way of putting it. Make sure your crease here on the leading edge of what this is going to be, your tail plane, is really nice and crisp. Okay, so now you got that. So now what you're going to do is you're going to refold your wing. And then you're going to make what is becoming your tail plane. Follow it. Your crease should be underneath there, so it should follow along pretty easily. Okay? It should be in a line with your wing, which should be slanted. And of course you follow suit with this one. And obviously try to make the lines match up as best you can. Okay? You got that there, you got that there, you got that there. Alright. Now you should have the basis of what it is I'm trying to do. And now comes the other crucial part, because this one is definitely heavier nose than model number 1. You're basically done. Model number 1 had less weight in the nose. You may need a stapler for this, people. I stapled the nose together the first time around. If you followed me along and put those folds up here, tape might be enough. I recommend one of you at least try it. Some of you try it, because tape should be enough with the weight that's up here now. But it might not be. In any case, I'm going to staple it, because I just feel like I'm going to need to. There's a lot less flex in the tail plane. So, boom. Covered all that area. You could obviously try to test fly it free, but I did that and I did not like it very much, so you need something to hold it together. And that's basically it. You should have something that looks pretty cool. And should be, if you followed along with me exactly, obviously you'll have a twin, but I hope you did your own thing, and it comes out to be quite different. And then, yes, again, this will probably be a shorter range plane, but that's what I'm looking for. So, the requirement is for something shorter. Oh, that's nice. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay, it did the exact same thing the other one did, but on a shorter scale. Now, to give you an idea, since I teased you with like factory fresh, this is number 2, built today. Now, to give you an idea of how much your ideas can decide, and like what NASA's might have sat with you with, and I've talked to you about before how you need a test fleet of figuring out what kind of planes you're dealing with. I'm obviously going to date it because it's still March 1st, and it's... Oh my God, why does this pen do that? I don't know how long y'all have sat with me on these things, but I've always had to deal with pens, and the thing is I usually pick, like a lot of people like to pick the best pens to write with, and I still end up with pens that don't like to freaking cooperate. What's the deal with that, man? What's the deal with that? Okay, March 1st. However, this is number 2. And since this is an X, I've got to put it in there, so it's just number 2. However you want to mark yours, obviously. But again, to show you an exclusive here, people coming along with me still, this is obviously what my second design looks like. This is what the first one was earlier in the day. Now you see the difference in these planes. The only thing that kind of followed suit is the design of the wing. But this plane, this is number 1 built earlier. This is number 2. This is how far I've taken it. Now you can see, obviously this thing beats this one by length by a good bit. Wasn't really expecting that. It's the fold from the front that did it. This one's really got it. This one's got more of an inch. There's like 1.25 inches to this fold. There's like, whatever the hell I said that was. What did I say that was? Follow me along. 3 centimeters. This one's got like 3 centimeters. This one's only got like about 1 inch, maybe a little less. So that 2 3/4 centimeters, yeah, that made all the difference in the lengths between these two. Although this is actually more what I was trying to get. I'm a little bit happy with the way this design flew out the gate. It's also more sturdy. This one's containing 3 staples in the nose to counteract weight that I had to put here because the boom that is formed right here, since I made these folds meet the wings, it was weaker here. It's now stronger because of the tape, but I needed the balance in weight to counteract the balance in weight. So a lot broader in the back, and yet the plane still, I mean, it performs pretty good. They've not been outside, and I kind of expect outside to maybe tear this one up a little bit. Maybe not so much this one. And if you followed along, SIL as my company, we've been doing a lot of boom aircraft in the past. I've worked on these before. I've always been fairly disappointed with how they turned out. But there's been a couple of, hot little examples, and these, I feel, have some potential. So you're going to get something different, I hope so, but please, by all means, if you get it built, tell me. Let me know how they turn out. I would like to see, what it is you're doing. If you've got especially if you've got something more like a straight-on flight, because I have gotten nothing to that effect yet, so I know that these things are basically just short to possibly medium range, but right now close to short-range stunters, which is okay. That's what I was looking for. They need to get outside, though. They need to be put through their environments to see how they truly perform. But in any case, as you can tell, again, I'm up to these newer ones that are always looking a little bit more like realistic aircraft. These are my realistic aircraft for a while. This thing's even been modified from its original form, too. The only cuts that were made were in the middle here. This is folded back on itself, just like this was. And I did do another cut where this one did have its wings like this. There was a slant back, so the cord was a little bit more maintained from, root to tip, but I want to change it like this, and it turned out okay so far. There will be a tech on this, too, because I wanted to introduce y'all to something that you may not have thought of, but we'll do it on a tech talk, probably the next one that's coming up, or maybe on the show. We shall see. But anyway, there's the plane. So you got that. You're going to have a plane that looks like either one of these. Great. Give me some flights. Let me know what you think. You may be disappointed if you're looking something on a long range, but being a member of IVPAC, and I have to settle with my planes that are not always long range. I have to have variations of range always ready. So these are my variations. I'm hoping these work out really well. They look cool. I'm happy with the look. I mean, it's not all about looks. It's functionality. Who am I kidding? It's really about looks. I don't know about you guys, but I have progressed to the point. It's not a boast. It's just a statement of fact. I've progressed to the point that I'm beyond looks, or beyond functionality. I can get my planes to do what I need them to do. Now it's about looks, and I'm trying to get them to look pretty cool. So, obviously, don't have a vertical tail yet. I'll be working on that later. But anyway, that's the show for the day. Guys, thanks for coming out. Thanks for being here. I know it's not live. I'm just saying, thanks. I should say thanks for watching. Our new layout, we're sticking with it so far. It's looking pretty good. The Tech Talks, the other stuff, the Inside IVPAC shows, they're coming, I promise you. We got some in the queue. So, stay tuned for the live show. Live show will be coming up this Thursday. This Thursday. That's tomorrow. So, we'll still do the live show. Just live shows on Thursdays. Try to make it 8:30s. 9:30 Eastern U.S. time. 8:30 Central U.S. time. And other shows as see appropriate. But in the meantime, guys, again, thanks for watching the video. Always remember, better yourselves, better your designs.